Hi, I'm Nadia and I'm the Yogi.
And I'm Michelle and I'm the Blonde.
And this is the Yogi and the Blonde podcast.
In this podcast, we offer guidance,
Motivation,
education,
and inspiration
to help you adopt healthy habits you can sustain for life.
If you enjoy the podcast and would like further information,
head over to our Instagram or YouTube pages.
You can find the links in the bio. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's The Yogi and the Blonde podcast.
Lovely to have you back.
Good. I was like, there's a bit of a gap there. I was like, is Michelle going to talk?
Maybe she Michelle is here.
Hi. It's all good. It's all good. I got your back. Remember? Hope everybody is having a fabulous day. If it's a Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, whatever it may be. That wasn't even in order. But yeah, wherever you are across the world, I hope you guys are having a fabulous day. Today, Michelle and I are going to have a bit of a talk, not a bit, we're going to have a talk on a topic can be quite controversial, can hit people to the heart. And I just want you to know that we're just speaking from our point of view, our opinions. So it's not like this is the way it is. And if you don't agree, that's okay. We each have our opinion on that. And what it is we don't want to don't judge a book by its cover. That's a really old thing. I'm sure, Michelle, you've heard that saying quite a long time. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it relates to a lot of things. Don't judge a book by its cover. But I feel like in our industry, the health and wellness industry, it's very, very applicable. Don't judge a book by its cover in many different ways, as we're going to explore today.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about like body image, how health and wellness looks different for everyone. And why this came about is a post that both Michelle and I follow this guy called Ben Carpenter. He spoke about this, but as in a PT base. When he first started PTing, he was ripped. He was really ripped, and that's why people were hiring him, because they wanted a body like his. Then he got really sick. He got Crohn's disease. He got really sick. He lost all his muscle mass, and he was just this skinny little thing. And I think he said he took a year off from PTing, from working, to get his health back. And his health wasn't 100% back, but people were questioning him because he was a skinny guy. He had no muscle. How could he know anything? And it's fascinating because I think that is just, again, it's judging a book by its cover. He's got immense knowledge, this guy, and does a lot of studies and does a lot of research. And it's fascinating to see. And it's sad to see at the same time, because just because you see someone that, I was saying to Michelle that with my kidney disease, with hitting perimenopause, I'm 45, my body's changed a lot in the past few years. I've been grieving my dad passing away and stressed with that beforehand, and COVID and being sick. It just all adds up to your body. And I know that I got a strong core, because when I show my clients some things and they're like, oh my God, how do you do that, Nadia? And yeah, I'm carrying a little weight around the waist and stuff, but does that mean that I'm not strong? Does that mean I'm not healthy?
No, is the answer. The podcast people aren't going to respond. I'll respond.
Yeah. No. Thank you, Michelle. But the pause is good, because it makes people think, and it makes, people might be like, oh, no, it doesn't mean, it doesn't mean any of that, right? So why do we do that? Why are we always thinking someone who's very bendy is a great yoga teacher, or someone who is immaculate is the most amazing PT? Or like, why do we judge in that way? I just don't get it, really, to be honest. That's me going a bit on a tangent that way. Michelle, jump in, because I feel like I'm going to go on the wrong tangent here.
Yeah, no, I have a theory to answer your question. I think people do make those assumptions
Mm.
Because, for example, I am a person, I want to lose some weight. That person who is a personal trainer has either lost weight or is in a shape that I want to be.
Hmm.
Therefore, this person knows what you need to do in order to be in that shape because they are in that shape, so they have done it. I think that's where the thought process comes from.
It's our
It's
calling
like,
card, is what he said. Your body is your calling card,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
sad, to be
Because
honest.
yeah, because actually what that does is that it makes assumptions everywhere. You could have a ripped body, but you might have zero empathy. And as a personal trainer, you need to be able to emphasize with your client. You need to be able to communicate with your client.
Yeah,
It's
I've
more
had that
than
experience
just,
this week. I've had
there we
somebody
go.
approach me. I've had somebody approach me this week. I've been talking to Michelle about it, who wants to give me a try as a PT because they find that they're not getting what they need at this point in their journey from the PT they have, because they probably have heard me on the floor going, how are you today? What's going on with your body today? Where are you at today? And and trying to find someone to ask them that. They want to be asked that. So to me, that person is telling me there's someone that needs to be, they're one of their language of love is affirmation.
Yeah.
Right there,
Yeah.
that's telling me probably a good chance. I'm assuming a good chance she needs affirmations. She needs to be told she's doing a good job. She needs to be pulled out of bed. Do you know what I mean? In that
Mm,
way. And so there's nothing wrong with that. And it's
yeah.
great. Come and see me then.
Yeah.
And it's
But that's a perfect example. So that has absolutely nothing to do with what you look like.
no,
How you
nothing.
relate to other people and how you behave towards other
Mm,
people and your clients, that's got nothing to do with what you look like. So let's imagine that you had obesity.
mm,
Would that take away from the fact that you're an empathetic person who is very caring, checks in with people, and helps them to get their results for themselves in that way? That doesn't take that away from you, but
no.
somebody is going to look and go, oh, well, no, clearly she doesn't know what she's doing. And I think this is where that thought process comes from. And I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
right, it's just my
Yeah.
theory of why people think in this way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree. I think it's a bit I think we can never judge what somebody's going through. We will never be in their shoes. And I think I've said this maybe before. We will never experience, we'll be able to empathize with them, but we'll never, ever, ever experience what they're feeling, how they're feeling in their body. And that's why I think we you cannot judge. You don't know the history of that person. You don't know what's happened to them, right? Maybe they got a health condition and they can't be skinny mini or ripped. Maybe they've something traumatic's happened to them, and with all the stress and everything like that, they've put on some weight. Like, how do you know? Like, you don't know what they've been through. So why do we do that? And should we start educating people and saying, don't judge a book by its cover, find out the story first? But again, what do we do all the time? We're looking on our phones, we're looking at social media. That is why. Because if you look at magazines, there's one girl that I follow. Oh, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. She's an American girl. She is voluptuous. She's got beautiful curves, and she's a model. And she's modeling on runways. She's modeling in magazines, and it's something she's always done. And not saying she's not healthy, because she talks about how she works out, how she eats healthy and stuff. But it's just her body. It's how she is. And she's beautiful. She's gorgeous. She just has beautiful curves. And I love the fact that she's doing that, but she's also promoting of, I still work out. I still eat good whole foods to make sure my body's well maintained, well nourished, not maintain would be the working out, but the eating and stuff. So the making sure she's well nourished. So
Yeah.
why judge a book by its cover? Like, find out the story before you even judge it. And if you start judging it, then question yourself. Do you see your reflection in them?
Mm, good point. Yeah, I think it goes in the other way as well. Like, it shouldn't be controversial for someone with a curvy body to be a model. It shouldn't be controversial, but it is like
Mm-hmm.
yawn, boring. Um, but it kind of goes the other way as well. So we live in a society where thinness is embraced and praised. And I'm not a popular culture girl, I'm a bit of a loser. But I know that there's a very famous singer called Ariana Grande, and I don't know what is going on in her life, but she came out and she has recently lost a ton of weight, and people are telling her, "You look amazing, you look so great." And she basically came out and she said, "I am in a terrible place. I am massively depressed. I am not in a good place. And people are telling me how amazing I look. I'm awful, but I'm being praised for it." And
Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting perception of health, because one of the markers that's used in the medical industry for whether a person is healthy is BMI, your body mass index,
Yeah.
how big your body is in relation to your frame. And it could be that a person is sitting within the healthy, in quotation marks, range,
Mm-hmm.
but you're basically basing that just on their body size. It's
Yeah.
not looking into other things such as the mental well-being of that person, the how nourished they are. You know,
Yeah.
you could have the perfect body, again in quotation marks. You could be smoking 40 cigarettes a day. Does
You
that
could be
make
drinking
you
a bottle of
healthy?
wine
You
every
could be
day. Yeah.
drinking a bottle of wine every day. Does that make you healthy
No, it
because you
doesn't.
have the perfect
It doesn't.
BMI range? So I think it can go both ways as well. You can have a bigger body and be metabolically healthy, exercise, eat well, or you can have a smaller body, but actually not be healthy at all. But it seems to be that that is the marker that we assess somebody's health on
Judging a book by
and
its cover.
make that judgment. You're looking at a person going, "Oh, that person's healthy. Oh,
Mm.
she's in great shape. She looks great." But in the inside, she's falling to pieces. So, I
Is
think
that really truly healthy too? No, it's not. It's not. we
no.
think we think health is the physical thing. Actually, it starts with the state of mind. The state of
Yeah.
mind is everything. And that's where I've been working so hard with a lot of my clients. And some of them I can't really jump into that bit with them easily, and I just focus on this, and then I start slowly checking in with their state of mind and adding little things and saying little things and stuff, and I notice a big shift. And I've got one of them that gave me that card and that Pharaoh's gift card and everything, and it just warmed my heart. And it's because I've been working a lot of mindset with him as well.
Yeah.
And like this week, one of our sessions, we started off and we were on the cross trainer. As I'm beside him and we were just chatting away and just talking about mindset and checking in. And I feel for her. Like, I feel for her. I wouldn't want to be put in the limelight in that kind of way. And that just, again, like Ben Carpenter, like it just sucks because of the fact that you don't know their story. Why the hell are you judging them? Like,
Yeah.
bugger off.
Yeah.
Don't judge. Like, look at yourself first before you start judging someone else.
Mm. And I
um
think that sometimes, let's take complimenting somebody. So for this girl who's having a really bad time, people
yeah,
keep telling her, "Oh, you look amazing." That person probably thinks that they're doing a nice thing. It probably comes from a good place,
true.
but it's actually not. It's quite detrimental to that person. So I think we also have to be aware of the comments we make about other people's
mm,
bodies,
mm,
because you don't know the background, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
mm-hmm,
And even if it's well intentioned and you mean well, if you're telling somebody that they look absolutely banging when actually they've lost a load of weight because they have a chronic illness which makes them very, very nauseous and they can't eat anything and they feel like shit, but
mm-hmm.
you're telling them how amazing they look, so many different things can go through your mind. Like, did I not look good before I got this
beforehand.
really awful illness? Like, is the only way that you're going to think I look good if I maintain having this awful illness and don't get better again? Like, it can be problematic, and even though it's coming from a good place, it can be taken in really the wrong way. So I think
Yeah.
it can go both
Can I
ways.
can I share one time I got a compliment? So um I hadn't seen this guy in it, a good 15, 20 years. And I was back home for about 6 months. I've been living in New Zealand for 3.5 years. I went back home for 6 months. And what I noticed, I went to this CD, that shows you how long ago that was, an album release. And it was a bunch of people that I knew. And I haven't seen this guy in a long time. And I used to work with him when I worked at this resort in the kitchen, and I was in my mid to late teens when I was working with him. And I seen him, and he like comes up and he's beside me, and I'm at a bar. I'm waiting for my drink to come through, and I'm chatting with some friends, and he's right there. And I started talking to him, and I started talking to him in French. And he's like, "How do you know?" And I'm like, "Well, we used to work with each other a long time ago." And I told him, and he's like, "I have no idea who you are." And I said my name. And I don't think I've changed at all since then. And he looked at me, he goes, "Oh my God." I'm going to bleep that out there for you guys. Beep. And he's like, "You're bloody hot." And I was like, what do you mean by that? He's like, "Oh, don't get me wrong. You had a great personality, but you're And I was like, I don't, and I was a bit offended, to be honest. I was offended. I was just like, I haven't done anything different. The only thing I had different was my hair. My body shape was the same. I'm the same person. I don't think I've changed much at all since then. So I was just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And rather
What the
than,
beep?
yeah, beep. And that happened quite frequently through the time I was home. That time
Mm,
I've run into people that I hadn't seen since high school, and they're like, "Wow, the guys would say this, oh, you're really hot now." And I'm like, "What, was I really that ugly like growing up? Like, fuck off." Part of my French again,
yeah.
sorry
Whoop
guys. But
de.
it again, it's just like most girls would be like, "Thank you," but the fact that like now you're hot, well, why was I
Yeah.
that much of
What
a
was wrong
dog? Like,
before?
you were friends with me then, and I just didn't get it. I didn't get it at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just fascinating. It's the same thing as I've been told I look really hot without glasses, but I'm ugly with
Yeah.
glasses.
So
It's
what does
just,
that mean? I'm ugly with them. Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
To be honest, it's that think before you speak. Think before you speak. And we
mm,
actually had this discussion were you there for that part when one of the PTs was saying, think before you speak? Were you thinking?
I wasn't there. No.
Okay, I think you had left at that time. And yeah, and it made sense. I like what they were saying is like, think before you speak. Like, think about it. Like, think
Yeah.
before you do something.
Yeah.
Think, did you think?
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, I didn't actually. You just blah,
Because yeah,
blah. And I'm good for that actually, but
words
so
can have
many.
an impact. So yeah, if you
Yeah. So you think about, if those
mm,
words make that impact, what's going on with the image? Like, how are you portraying that image? Um, yeah, because to be honest, I sometimes wonder myself, like, I know I'm not buff and chiseled and whatnot. I think a lot of the there's a younger crowd that work there. So sometimes I feel that I'm judged for that because I'm not boof, 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 um,
mm,
as a PT. But then all my clients love me. They love
yeah.
how I do it. But again, I'm not a cup of tea for everyone, and I don't expect to be a cup of tea for everyone. I don't know. It's just interesting with the body image, and that was just I. I'm feeling right now, just even my expression right now with this all. It's a touchy subject for me because I try not to judge others, so I
Mm.
don't want to be judged, and
Yeah,
I think
I definitely
judged.
before I started working. Oh, sorry, you cut out there. I started talking over you. Sorry, I thought you'd stop talking. You
I'm
cut
not
out
too
for
worried.
me. Sorry.
Keep going, Michelle. I was done
I
anyway.
definitely felt a pressure before starting. Yeah, when I knew I was going to start working at Les Mills, I definitely felt a pressure, I guess, that I needed to get in shape. I was like, okay, I'm going to go hard, and I wanted to be in shape. And I'm not buff, but I'm strong. I aim to lift heavy weights, and I can, and that's my goal. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm definitely over the body image thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, my clients like me, they trust me, they think I'm knowledgeable, they're getting what they want from me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they didn't pick me because I look a certain way. And I feel like I don't want a client if they're going to pick me because I look a certain way. I don't want one
Yeah.
of my clients to say, oh, I chose you because you've got a flat tummy, as an example. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want that, because
No, me
that
neither.
doesn't show my abilities as a personal trainer or as a coach or as a person. So I don't want that client anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't have that pressure anymore. I work out because it's good for me, and that's the end of that. Like, not
Yeah.
because I feel like I need to look a certain way to do my job.
And
So
I
I'm
and
over it, but I had those thoughts 100%.
yeah, and sorry, maybe I wasn't clear. Those thoughts were at the beginning for me as well.
Yeah.
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 The beginning of for me. Now I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care
It's
at
not
all.
a driver for me to exercise. I exercise now
For health. For me,
for
it's
health.
like 100% health.
Yeah.
Not just physically, but for me, is mentally. I've got like, I'm getting down a really good routine. We were discussing about this, Michelle and I was saying, I've got such a good flow. I meditate. I do my breathing in the morning. I get into the gym. I'm there when it's open at 5. The earliest I'll take a client on is 6:30 because I want to get my workout in. This is me time. This is what I'm putting myself first. And it's about creating boundaries. I've got somebody that wants to jump on with me and she's like, oh, she wants to start before 6:30. I'm like, sorry, that's the earliest I'll start. I'm not sacrificing myself for other people. I need to do that to also show my clients that I put my health first. So you should too.
Mm,
So I think if I'm going to talk the talk, I should be doing the walk, right? I should be putting in the work. I should do the things that I'm in encouraging my clients to do, encouraging the way for them to think, and the way that they think about themselves. And then they're going to start acting about it. They're going to start implementing it, and then the changes start happening in their state of mind, in the way things are, because our psychology changes our physiology, and the physiology doesn't have to be body image, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I feel good. I feel strong. Like I was saying, I don't have a tiny little waist, but I know I'm strong in my core. I know I've got a good, strong core, and but I don't care that I don't have a six pack. I just want to reduce the fat for my health, not for anybody else, for my health, for my heart
right.
health, for my health with being in the stage I am in my life, in the changes in the hormones in my body. And that's what it's all about. And I think we need to find that and actually embrace it, really love it, and encourage that's how we should look at other people if that's what we're doing. If you're
Yeah.
going to start comparing, you can't compare yourself to anyone as well. That's
Mm,
another thing when
that's
it
a big one.
comes, you cannot compare yourself to anyone. Again, it comes back to the history, what's happened in their life, what's their genetics, all of that. You cannot not judge, and you cannot compare that. I think social media is so bad, because I even look at other PTs and I'm like, oh my God, they've got so many followings and it sounds like they're doing so well and they're so ripped, and that's why everybody follows. I'm not saying they're not a good PT or they're not a good coach at all, but I think we need to shift that mindset, and shift that mindset to, let's not judge. Let's see if we first resonate with that person. Do we agree with what they're doing and how they're doing things? And it's taken me like a few tries to find my own coach that I like what he says. I like how he lives his life and how he looks at it, which is a mental state as well. And it's just not one cookie cutter thing that's gonna fit. I like that.
Yeah.
It resonates with me. So rather than looking for someone or judging someone or comparing someone at their body image, their way of living, it's don't do that. You gotta like find what works for you, and you gotta
Yeah.
find what's happy within yourself. You
Yeah.
know,
You're really limiting yourself
you
if
are,
that's
you
how
are.
you view the world.
Yeah, you are limiting, and you're very like, it's like you've got blinders. Your blinders as you're going through, and who wants to see that? Who
Mm,
wants to just limit themselves just to that, limit themselves to what they see or want to see? Why do that? You're What about other ways of seeing things and seeing someone, having that vulnerability, allowing yourself to be vulnerable? Yeah, I've put on some weight, but I'm working it through. I'm fine with it. It's life. It was hard on me. It was bloody hard too. Um, and it's not the first time. And it might happen again, but my state of mind is to be able to maintain it. Like Michelle said, she was saying on another podcast, you were talking about the protein. You eat that protein, you eat so much protein, and you love that protein, and that's your macro that you make sure that you have in all your meals because you're looking at your health. And some people might not agree with that, but you got to work with what's going to do good for you, as long as you're not harming yourself or anyone else. And
agree.
I think if we start looking at judging a book by its cover and comparing ourselves, then we are harming not just other people, but ourselves. We're really hard on ourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Agree.
it's been a good tangent.
Yeah, no, love that. Yeah, so I think we've made it clear how we feel about the subject.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to finish this off, and it's been a while since we've done this, and I think you might know what I'm going to say next, Michelle. Michelle's covering her face because she says I always put her on the spot when I do this.
Oh,
What are you grateful about yourself, Michelle, and why?
I'm I'm very grateful to be able-bodied and to be in a position where I am able to do any activity that I could possibly choose without any restriction. And I know that's probably a bit deep, but I know people
Yeah.
that have one leg. I know people that can't do certain things because they have a disability, and I don't have to think about that in my life, and I'm so grateful for that. It doesn't ever pass me by that I am privileged to be able to move my body and do the things that I do, or do anything that I might potentially want to do in the future. I could do anything. I don't do certain things because I don't want to, like bungee jump, for example. I don't want to do that ever.
Yeah.
But I can do anything that I want to do, and I'm very grateful for that. That's very deep, but it's true.
No, deep is good. Like I love going deep. I love going deep. I
Get
love
deep, get deep.
digging deep, digging deep. That was awesome.
What
That
about
was
you? What are you grateful for? I don't remember what the question was. For your body? Your
no
body?
for just grateful about myself and
About
why.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, grateful about myself, not something else, but about myself. Oh, so it would have been about yourself. For me, is something that first thing that jumped into to my mind is my laughter. I love laughing, and I love having that big belly laugh for two reasons, because it just lifts my energy, and somebody will be laughing at me because of my laugh or the way that I'm laughing or whatever, but I
I've
love
done
it
that.
because no, you've done that.
I laugh at you all the time.
But the thing is though, I don't care, because look at you're happy, you're smiling, your
Yeah.
endorphins are lifting, so that's great. But
Mm.
also there are certain times when I laugh, I hear my dad and I feel my dad's laugh, because my dad would have a big laugh and loud. And one of my clients this morning, because I could see she's looking around for me, but she didn't see me. And I was like, had a bit of a laugh with another client. And she's like, she couldn't see me,
Oh,
but
there
she
she is.
heard me. Yeah, she's like, I can
Oh,
hear
she's
her.
over there.
Where is she? Where
Follow
is
the
she?
sound.
That's what she said. She said, and I just was, and I don't know, I've been thinking a lot about my dad this week. It was Father's Day in Canada. It's technically today is it would have been my parents' 60th anniversary, and I've just been feeling a little emotional this way, and that's okay. Michelle had seen some of that, and it was a good reminder. So yeah, my laughter. I love laughing. I love laughing. So I love a good laugh. Whatever, even if it's at myself, I love laughing at myself.
And we love your laughs, so keep it up. Keep laughing.
On that note, we're going to leave off with Michelle, who appreciates and is so grateful for her body to be able to do anything. And for me, laughter. Laughter is medicine for the soul, guys. That's us for today. Don't forget to like us, comment, share, give us, hey, we like any comments. Yeah, anywhere, like Michelle's pointing upside down around. Just let us know, and we'd love to hear from you guys. Feedback, please. Have a fabulous day, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out.
Bye. If you have enjoyed listening to our podcast today
and want to hear more, please subscribe using the button below.